Hello and welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Tuesday, December 12th, 2017. Just want to read our disclaimer quickly. Trading stocks is a high level of risk and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice, not making any recommendations, always for your further homework. Good morning, Sue here with video number 305 in our regular Tuesday-Thursday morning video series. If you're a regular viewer, then you know I always start these videos off with a look at the Russell Index. I use the Russell as my simple proxy for the markets overall. As long as the Russell is moving higher, I'm adding new names to my watch list. And for that, I use the IWM, which is the ETF that represents the Russell 2000. And I like to step back and take a look at it on a 5-year monthly time frame. I like that bigger picture look. So here's our 5-year monthly chart of the Russell. These are monthly candles. The blue line down here is long-term support resistance. We're kind of ignoring it for now, and we're really focusing on this wedge pattern that's been taking place on the Russell really since the beginning of the year. So as you can see, this black diagonal line that we have illustrated here has held, or did hold price in, I should say, all through the year until we got to the month of September, where we had this bullish candle pushing us up and through that prior area of resistance, now support. So like the look of this candle. Then the candle for the month of October was a doji, a little bit undecided, sitting on the top of our trend line. And then last month, the candle for the month of November had a bullish orientation with a long wick, pushing price back up and through our black diagonal line. I've got this purple line drawn in here that you'll better be able to see on the smaller time frame, but I just wanted you to see the look of the candle so far for the month of December, shaping up to be a little red, but we still have half of the month to go, so we'll see how the orientation looks at the end. I'm going to move it away from the 5-year monthly chart to the 2-year weekly. You can better see this wedge here. It's the same black diagonal line. We're just pulling it into the 2-year weekly look. Here's my purple trend line. I want to show you this on the daily chart, and then our orange line that holds support here at the bottom. So note that on the weekly chart you can see price on the Russell moved up and over this line in September, came back in, and here's where we are right here, right now. So let's move it away from the 2-year weekly to the 3-month daily. I'm really going to zoom it in. So here's the purple line that we drew in, I forget if it was last week or the week before, saying, look, if this uptrend on the Russell is going to continue higher, then price is going to have to get through this purple line. So price was coming in with these red candles towards our area of support, the black diagonal line. But as you can see, it has moved up and over that purple trend line, so the uptrend is trying to continue. Having said that, price currently, this is the line that I use as my guide. This blue line is the 8-day EMA. We're looking at the daily chart. So when price on the Russell is up and over that 8-day EMA, I'm adding new names to my watch list. As you can see, we had a smaller candle yesterday, a little bit of a doji look to it with a wick at the top and a wick at the bottom. So the market is looking a little undecided as to which way it wants to go. Price closed just ever so slightly below the blue. So I'm not going to put any new names forward, but I'm going to review an old name. Should we price strength continue today, tomorrow, then I think it's a name worth taking a look at. And the chart that we're going to take a look at and review today is an old Chart of the Day Cafe pick. It's Encana Corporation, trades on the New York Stock Exchange as well as the TSX. It's a dual-listed Canadian company. For the purposes of today's video, we are looking at it on the US side. Before I get into the chart, let me revisit the numbers on Encana for you. You know at Chart of the Day Cafe, I am all about the fundamentals underneath the charts I feature. I circle value and growth the most. And currently, Encana has a very nice high value score. It's got a forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 38%. That's a very nice, healthy number. A current PE of 18.97, and it pays a small dividend of 0.51%. So with that, let's get back to the chart. We're looking at the 2-year weekly. As you can see on the 2-year weekly, it's in an uptrend We featured it, or I featured it here in July, on July 13th of this year. Green circle, you can see as it bounced off this trend line and started to pick up. It had a little lift from there, came back in to test the trend line, and has moved nicely higher since then, and is trading in this consolidation pattern on the weekly that suggests that in a continued strong market environment, Encana may want to lift from here. So I'm going to move it away from the 2-year weekly to the 6-month daily chart so you can better see. This is where we first put Encana out back in July, green circle day, the retest of the trend line on the daily chart. And now I like to see this kind of sideways price action that we've been experiencing with Encana in the last week and a half or so, going sideways. Whoops, sorry about that. And looking as though it may be poised to continue higher here. We will see. It's all about what the markets want to do in the days ahead, but I use this blue line as my guide, the 8-day EMA. When price moves up and over the 8-day EMA, I'm interested, and when it moves below, I am not. So Encana looks like it may be poised to move up and back over that 8-day EMA. I'm going to zoom it in a little bit so we can see. I sometimes refer to the 3 and 8 cross just to keep it super simple. So when the pink line moves over the blue, so the pink line is the 3 EMA and the blue is the 8-day EMA moving average. When the pink moves over the blue, you can use that as a trigger. That's what I like to use. It's one of the tools that I use. I'm not making any recommendations to you, but it's just a simple way to look at things and use that trigger as an entry and an exit, whether you want to use it on the daily or the weekly. So we'll be monitoring Encana Corporation for that cross and move higher in the days ahead. We will see. Along with the stock that we're looking at for today, I also like to take a look at the sector that it's in, and for that we're going over to XOP, which is the ETF for the oil and gas exploration sector. You can see that this chart of XOP looks a lot like Encana. 2-year uptrend started here, had a retouch in this area here, and has been consolidating sideways. This is the weekly chart. I'm going to move it over to the daily so you can see, like Encana, its price has been more or less moving sideways and may be poised to move higher on the sector ETF. Always like to check that. I also like to take a look at seasonality. We talk about this a lot, and for that I go to equityclock.com, a really amazing site. I love it. And you can see that Encana, this is the seasonal chart. It has seasonal favor in December, although it kind of trades sideways, but then you can see it picks up again in the new year. So seasonality is there. Also, I like to take a look at FinViz. This is a site that I use all the time to see if analysts are favoring my watch list pick. And as you can see, Encana has had some recent upgrades, reiterations, all fairly recent. So I like to see that as well. With today's video, it's a review video of an old pick. So we're just reviewing the chart, we're reviewing the numbers underneath it. But I'm also going to enclose this in the show notes, this recent video on BNN. Can I get that into my screen? With Brendan Caldwell, where he discusses Encana. It's a short video, it's only about 2 minutes long, so it might be worth listening to. Overall, given the market environment that we're in, he says that Encana would most likely move higher. It's all about what the market wants to do. We will see, but I'm including this with today's video. And so to summarize, I started today's video with a look at the Russell Index. We note that the Russell is in an overall uptrend. However, I don't have the box checked because currently price on the Russell is not up and over the 8-day EMA that we use as our guide. So this box gets left unchecked. It's all about watching to see which direction the market wants to go in the days ahead and following the direction of the market. We looked at XOP, the ETF that represents the sector that Encana is in, and we note that it's in an uptrend on the 2-year chart. We looked at the chart for Encana. The 2-year chart is in an uptrend, has been consolidating, and may be, emphasis on may be at an area where price strength starts to resume here. It's got a good value score. It's got a good growth score with a forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 38%. That's a really nice high number. Current dividend yield of 0.51%. It does not have that 3 and 8 daily EMA cross, the trigger that I look for, but I will be waiting for it here, so this box gets left unchecked. It's got seasonality in its favor, analyst support, current PE of 18.97, and they have not announced an earnings date yet. Thank you for watching, and as a reminder, these videos go out every Tuesday and Thursday morning. I do my very best to screen for the best looking charts with the best fundamentals underneath them, curate information that is relevant, and deliver it to you on a timely basis. If you like receiving these videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting the red subscribe button on my YouTube homepage. That way you get them as soon as they are released. With that, I will say goodbye. Have a great next couple of days, and our next video goes out on Thursday.